Hello and welcome back to the Corner of Gray Street podcast. I'm Bruce, and as per usual, I'm joined by Mr. Nolan.
Bruce, what's up? How's it going? We're joined by a special guest this week.
Oh yeah, you better believe it. Very special guest. A lot of you may know him as, well, the future opener for the Dave Matthews Band, night 2 of Gorge this year, but really he's an extraordinary singer, songwriter, and storyteller, Mr. Ruston Kelly. What's happening, Ruston?
What's up? Lots is happening. Shows are happening. This is exciting. An exciting time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us, man. This is super exciting. We actually had a listener of the podcast recommend that we speak to you. We didn't think of reaching out to really anybody during the tour for an interview, and they were like, "You need to reach out to this guy. He's super interesting. His music is awesome." And we're like, "Well, we're going to see him at the Gorge, so yeah, exactly. So
Let's
we
go
might as well."
Yeah, dude. So a little over a week, you'll be playing at the Gorge, opening for Dave and playing before Robert Randolph and the Family Band, and you'll be promoting your second studio album, Shape and Destroy, that came out almost exactly a year ago to the day. So congrats on the 1-year anniversary, and we can't wait to hear that music live.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, really, throughout everybody, we're going to touch on his music for sure. So to start out, I know you guys are itching to hear, him, all of his love for Dave, how he's connected to DMB, him playing at the Gorge and all that. But we want to dive into really his past, present, and future of his own music, because he's an extraordinary musician on his own. So, give us the lay of the land here, man. You were born in South Carolina, I believe, raised kind of all over the country, and now you're in Nashville?
Yes, you nailed it. Yeah, I've been in Nashville like 15 years now, and I didn't even come here to play music. Like my sister moved here and went to college here, and like it was a free place to stay, and I was like, okay, well, looks like I'm going to be going to Nashville. I didn't really have a steady job or anything like that, so I just kind of bummed around with her. And just like one of those things that Nashville's such a saturated town, like you can't, swing a dead cat without hitting a musician or a songwriter or an artist or a producer or engineer, like whatever. And I just like met a couple people and got in the room with them and played them some of my songs. And they're like, those are pretty sick. You should play them for like my publisher. And it's like, this publisher was like, oh, that's really cool. You want to like write here for a little bit, for other artists. And I was like, I don't know. And then I finally was able to pick like the right publisher, and I went the publishing route. But the interesting thing before I did that was I was in this jam band called Elmwood. No one's ever heard of it, and no one will ever hear of it. And it's like, it was me on acoustic guitar, sax, and we had Donnie Marple, who was Guitar Center's national drum off champion. So he could do everything that Carter could do. And we all got together because of like our love for Dave, and me and the bass player were writing these songs that were like super weird time signatures. I was listening to nothing but Before These Crowded Streets at the time, that and like Smells Like Teen Spirit. And so it was like this quartet that was like Under the Table and Dreaming situation, but like on acid. It was it was aggressive and like clearly a rip, of like Dave, except we didn't have a fiddle. But that's how I got started in the industry. Is like I was in this jam band and we played at this place called French Quarter Cafe in Nashville, which is now called Crying Wolf. And the owner of Paradigm Talent Agency, who represents Dave Matthews Band, happened to be there at the time that we played. And he was like, you guys are really fucking awesome. And I was like, well, okay. And he's like, why don't you guys come into the office tomorrow? We're like freaking out. And they signed us the next day, which is pretty unheard of. Yeah. And they put us out with like Tea Leaf Green, with G Love. We did a couple side stages for Dave. Never got to open for him though. And I just was like so bummed about that. And we just hit the road. Like that's how I got my start in the industry as a touring artist in a van, bunch of dudes in a van playing, 200 days a year at frat houses and all that shit. Yeah. And then got a publishing deal, and I was writing all the songs, for that band, me and the bass player, but I was writing all the lyrics, and I just transitioned into like kind of what I'm doing, an extension of what I'm doing now. So yeah, there you have it.
That's awesome. How long did that happen for?
That was from 19 until about when I was 26. And
Okay.
a lot of that trajectory was slowed down by substance abuse. So like before I even signed to anything, like it was a classic story, being on the road and someone's like, all right, it's your turn to drive. Why don't you take this pill? And I was different than everyone else. It's like I took one pill. I'd never done any drugs in my life. And next thing I know, I was just like in rehab, at 23, doing every drug. And my career was like, I was writing better because I was understanding myself better through the trials of what it means to be a human being and suffering at your own expense. So like my songwriting took a new shape of kind of a salvational tool for myself. But as far as like making gains in my career, it was not like great. I was like living in my van at one point, and a lot of ups and downs. And it wasn't until I was like 26 and I made my EP Halloween that things started to go in the right direction. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Wow,
So
that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm glad things turned around in that direction for you. I guess one of the things we read about you, and it seemed like one of those like starting points was when you wrote a song for Tim McGraw. So where does that fall in that time span?
I don't know, man. I got lucky with that one. That provided me with like a job, that was right before I made my EP, and I had no interest in like writing for country musicians, especially like mainstream country musicians. That just was not my bag at all. But I had like a knack for writing kind of any type of song, and I would just sit down, and these Nashville writers, man, they love to like drink fucking whiskey. So they just put a bottle in the middle of the table, and at that time in my life, it was like Energizer Bunny. If you gave me some whiskey and pills, it was like bam. And we wrote that song like in a couple hours, and then a publishing company came to me and was like, hey, you want a salary to do this all the time? And I was like, yes I do. I absolutely do. I gotta plug this
Good
in.
decision.
Yeah, it was a great decision. It definitely like taught me the discipline of songwriting, because I'd be writing for other artists during the day, like a day job, and then I would go home, and work on my own shit. So I was just constantly, working on the craft of writing.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously you play more than just guitar, you do more than just sing. Harmonica, I think you do some piano. Which one came first? And, which one really kicks you into being like, okay, I can be a musician?
Guitar, acoustic guitar. Yeah, that was a huge draw to Dave. It was like doing, so many complex and really beautiful, intricate acoustic guitar parts that were so percussive at the same time that this lended itself. Like I grew up listening to Jackson Browne and like James Taylor and, like Nirvana, the Unplugged set and like Dashboard and all that. And then when I discovered Dave, I was like, well, this is a whole nother thing of like a guy and a guitar. It made me feel like it was like, there was no limit to what you could do with an acoustic guitar. So that's really what kind of, music really took off once I dove into the guitar itself.
I feel like, I don't know, me and Bruce are the same way with like listening to Dave on an acoustic guitar. Like in high school, we picked up an acoustic guitar because of it, and we can't sing, so we didn't go very far. But
but if you can play Warehouse, at a some sort of party, like it's just Kissing a Girl Central. That was my, I was like, oh damn, I didn't know like you like these deep cuts that I can play on the guitar.
You
Cuts
mentioned
only, man.
yes. No hits, no hits. You mentioned that James Taylor was kind of an influence, which I hear that a lot in some of your riffs.
Yeah.
I also hear in your voice some Ryan Adams for sure, just kind of in your overall
Yes.
approach. But I don't know if you know Dallas Green from City and Color.
Yes, man. We're actually like we're internet friends. Yeah,
Okay.
we communicate here and there over Instagram.
Okay. I was like, man, his voice just reminds me so much of his. So that's just such an incredible melting pot of musicians, including Dave, just to throw it all in. So for those of you that haven't really listened to a lot of Ruston, pick those out. You'll be able to hear a lot of those influence and stuff. So other than those, who was your favorite musician? I mean, you even like some heavy metal and like punk music as well, right?
Yeah, like I mean, Misfits, were big for me. I really like Hatebreed. I still love these bands. Like Pantera, is a bit Crowbar. Fucking love Crowbar. Yeah, and like Eminem's lyricism was huge thing for me. Dylan, of course, like I didn't get Dylan at first, and I just had like one of those clicking moments where I was like, okay, I like Dylan now. Like I get it. And that was a big influence. Jackson Brown for sure, Ryan Adams for sure, and then like Woody Guthrie and like Leadbelly and like all of those people are tied together. Like Kurt Cobain was a massive Leadbelly fan, so it's no surprise to me that like I was right there too. Carter Family, Cash, and all that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, we definitely like some of the same music, and I guess starting off with your Halloween EP, is that an ode to the DMB song Halloween? Because there aren't many Halloween songs.
To be honest with you, that is my all-time Dave song.
Yes.
And it stuck with me for a long time. And I just I love the aesthetic of Halloween, which is like part of why I like loved that song. I love like to name a song Halloween is like it's pretty punk, and if I remember correctly, Stefan was the one during the not during Before These Crowded Street sessions, because that was already a song I think in 92, and they were playing it live at Tracks, and Stefan was the one that was like, you should growl more, like you should scream, like get into that grunge zone, because he was like the kid of the group, so that would make a lot of sense. Like Pearl Jam, Sonic Youth, and Nirvana were like all banging around that time. So I just think it's really cool that I don't know, it all fit together, and I kind of took that as like a theme of intention for not just like my first record and slight ode to my favorite Dave song, but that's really like the quality of life I was living at the time, with all the drug use. Like I feel like I was living in like a haunted carnival, and it all made sense. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's funny. I mean, that was when I started listening to it, I was like, the first came to mind. I was like, I wonder.
And you're right. You nailed it, dude.
Nailed it. Yes. So yeah, I mean, you can like kind of tell that was a theme throughout this EP, and I'd say your first LP as well. But I don't know, I was kind of just like blown away from the start of that EP with Black Magic and everything.
Thank you.
So good.
Thanks, man. I mean, it's purposeful for me, as far as like that EP was like the prologue to a larger story, and I always knew that, but I wasn't sure how the book was going to be finished. And then Dying Star came around, and then Shape and Destroy, and they all tell the same story, but like at different points of it happening to me in my life, through a series of events. So it's all connected to me,
which is huge. That's what I was going to ask you about that, because it really, especially Halloween. And then as I kind of went through your discography and stuff, there is a lot that I crave from studio albums, and that people are now craving more from the Dave Matthews Band as we get further into their career. It's that cohesion, fluidity, storytelling. And then the production element as well, that like stuff that can't be reproduced live, you throw that stuff in there. Halloween itself is almost like one long track, and you could listen to it, close your eyes, and you're like in the dream sort of state. And then you come out, you know, with the next one, Dying Star, and like you said, it's a continuation of that story. How did you pick back up the guitar, I guess, so to speak, after nailing it really on that first EP, to where you're like, I'm going into full studio album mode here, but I'm continuing what I was doing? I feel like that's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it was just more, there's still more to be said about what's going on, you know, and I'm going to make records that I can't help but to be, you know, complete reflections of what's going on in my life. That's my intent as an artist. I don't really write songs like Jason Isbell is a great example. He's a friend of mine and phenomenal musician and songwriter, but he can write a lot as being a character. I've tried that at this stage in my songwriting career. That's just not, you know, what I feel drawn to. So to me, I'm not saying it's like, oh, it was easy, like, but it was easy to like continue unraveling that, you know, knotted string. It was just like, okay, we'll find the knot, pull it out. What else do you have to say? What else is left to say on this thread? You know?
Well, I've got one thing that we can dive in on this thread, and I was listening to Blackout, which great song. But then
Thanks.
The line about arguing LeBron with your friends stuck out to me, because that's like, we love basketball. We were hoopers, but okay, where do you stand on the LeBron debate then?
I think LeBron is fantastic. My point was, I was talking to a writing friend of mine over beers at the bar, and it was like noon. And, you know, the last night's game was, I can't remember what game it was. LeBron was playing. It was just like, man, said he's the best player that's, you know, that's graced the court. And my friend was like, MJ's the best player. And I was like, fine, like you can be. And me and him always had this like rivalry towards like songwriting and stuff. And I'll be like, fine, you could be MJ and I'll be LeBron. It was like the first thing that we agreed on, you know, with anything. So that was it. I was just doodling on a bar napkin talking about how much I liked LeBron James.
That's hilarious. I like that stuck out because it was so different from the rest of the lyrics.
Yeah, totally.
Sounds like some of Nolan and I's text messages about LeBron.
Oh, all the time. I think Bruce would be the LeBron. I'd be the MJ in this one.
And I'm as big of MJ fan as anybody, but I think that, yeah, overall as a player, like, I mean, come on, geez, he can do so much more. Anyways, I had one question, and to take you back to the Halloween EP, because man, I freaking loved it. The song Poison. As I kind of delve more into your stuff, I saw that, you know, you were playing it back in 2011, maybe even earlier. When did you write that song, and what is Poison in that song? Because I kind of interpreted it as one thing, but I want to know if it's like a universal thing, or if there was one thing specific there. Okay,
yeah, like, not to like completely name drop, but I was hanging out with Jackson Brown in LA. It was this like Matt, he's him and Dave and Kurt like are my biggest influences. So to be sitting in the room within his office where he wrote all these songs, and he told me something really interesting. He was like, you know, because he's the same way. He doesn't really write like through the lens of someone else. It's like through his own perspective. And he's like, I wrote this song called For a Dancer. And I was like, okay, like, yeah, like I've never heard of that song before. And he's like, you know, I thought I wrote it about a friend of ours in my crew, like, you know, that was a wild child and died, you know, at an early age, like through drugs or whatnot. And, you know, he just told me that as he played that song, he realized like that it was about a relationship that he had more than it actually was writing about that kid. And with the song Poison, I initially wrote that song early 2011 into 2010. And I wrote it for a friend that was going through a really bad breakup. but I had no idea how, by the time I recorded it on Halloween, how much that would apply to not just drug use, but like the relationship that I was in at the time. It was almost like eerily to a T, even to like Rosemary Beach being mentioned. And that's why, like, I do believe that songwriting is a mystical art form. There have been times that I've written something, I'm like, I don't even know what that means, but like, I need to say it. And then like 6 months later, like it'll happen. I'm just like, okay. Yeah. So Poison was initially about for someone else. And then it became a very, very personal song. It's one that like, I don't really like playing it live. It's fucking so long. Like it's the longest song anyone's ever written. And it's like, why like put myself every once in a while, like when we go out for encore and shows, I think the last time I did it was Houston. Someone kept, like a few people kept screaming Poison, and I was like, you know what, it's time to bust it out. And so I did. Yeah.
Spoon, Dave.
Spoon.
Yeah,
exactly.
Come on.
Exactly.
I'm gonna be I'll be the person yelling from the lawn, Poison. Gorge. So if you hear anybody yell that, that'll be me.
That'll be us. That's amazing. All right, so you got Dying Star, and then a lot of people have had trouble with that sophomore slump, but you did not with Shape and Destroy. DMB did not with Crash, and
sure didn't.
So you're in good company there. But yeah, can you just kind of tell us about this album that came out during the pandemic?
Yeah. So like Shape and Destroy was a mantra that I came up with. I said, when I got clean, I mean, it goes without saying, that was really difficult. It was a very, very, very difficult thing. Not because of the physical withdrawals. Like I could get through that. I'd done that before. It was more the maintenance of staying clean and the psychology behind why you did certain things that kept you a certain way, that kept you in a certain mode. And I couldn't find like anything that would just like do the trick, you know, other than writing. And it got to a point where I just was like, I was at a breaking point. I was like, you know what, if this is what being clean is, like, I'd rather just like be fucked up all the time, because this sucks. And I'm like, no fun to be around, you know? And I just started writing. I started writing furiously. And then just this phrase popped out. It's shape the life you want by destroying what obstructs your soul. And I was like, well, there's something to that. There's something to that. And it was like, I just condensed all of it for myself. And the next day I was in the Dominican Republic playing a John Prine festival, and I flew to New York City. The next day we cut the record, and I'd had the song, you know, some of the songs were finished, and it's similar to Dave in the sense of like, I know the lyrics are going to come. They don't always have to be there when I go to, you know, cut the song or record the music. I just kind of let it speak. And that was my mantra. I stepped into that record with like a fiery purpose of like, all right, like I'm gonna see straight for this, you know? And I did, and I'm super proud of that record. It was meant to be sonically a transitional record from Dying Star. Was very, you could call that a folk rock record. You call it an Americana record. You call it a dark country record. Like you could, you know, put it next to a City in Color record, you know, sonically. But I wanted to start transitioning into a space that we started to occupy in our live show, which is like, if you listen to Dying Star, it's a, you know, it's pretty chill, pretty syncy, pretty like you could definitely smoke a joint to it. But live, these songs were taking like such an energetic shape. And I have a lot of, you know, gratitude for the Dave Matthews Band for doing that. Whenever I go see a show, it's like they could just take this song and just not just like play it for 13 minutes, but dynamically take it up and down and take the listener for a ride. And we started doing that with a lot of those Dying Star songs that were like these kind of chill, folky songs that ended up having like a lot of energy live. And I wanted to capture some of that on Shape and Destroy, which is why I'm very excited to go. We're moving into slightly bigger rooms and venues for this tour. And I think it's going to be like, you know, it's going to have a lot, even more energy. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. I'm recording my third record in around December, and it's been weird to like, sit on a record for a year and not tour it, but it's great. I think there's like 10 shows are sold out already, which is awesome.
That is
So
awesome.
people are ready to get back in the seats,
Oh yeah. I mean, I know we were ready.
Oh God,
that's for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, just to kind of piggyback off of that, you labeled this as kind of a mental health record, and a little bit more uplifting, less angsty than the previous ones. And I know it's the kind of like the coming out of the destruction from before. So, which is interesting. And then the mental health thing, we've all been hit by the pandemic, like this, a big mental health thing. So what kind of, how do you tag on to that now, a year removed from its release, ready to do it live? Do you still have the same, I guess, feelings towards the record, or has that even kind of shifted?
That's a really good question. I would say that they've, I bottled them up because I had to, out of necessity, for like, there was talks of like maybe never being able to tour this record, so I kind of had to like leave it in a time capsule as far as how I felt about the record and the intent behind it, and save it in case, like, because there was talks like we might just go and record record 3, and Shape and Destroy is your pandemic record, and that's just what it is. And I knew we were going to be able to tour it, I just didn't know when. So I just kind of put it, to the side and started writing, from where I was at that time. And there was a lot more to say, past Shape and Destroy, and larger themes about being alive in the world, not just like as a sober person or a fucked up person, but just as being a human being and the things that we all experience. And so it helped me, like, by stepping away from it, ironically, like, helped me feel closer to it, to where like I cannot wait to tour this record. I cannot wait. And I know that like my fans this is, one of their favorite records. And I think like, especially there's a handful of songs that are like their favorite songs. And I can't wait to like deliver that, and deliver that as with as much purpose as I made it with.
Well, yeah, we hear you there. We can't wait to hear it at the Gorge in just a little over a week, man. And is that
Yeah.
So the Gorge will be your first live performance since early 2020, and you have not played these songs live at all, correct?
No. Nope.
Wow. First time stepping on stage at the Gorge. Oh my gosh.
With Dave.
At the Gorge with Dave. No big deal, guys.
Yeah, that's a dream, right?
Deal.
I mean,
no, it's like, you guys seriously like have no idea. Like, it's such a dream. I'm not just like a fan. Like, that music really shaped who I am as a person and how I connect with people, and the reason why I want to make music. I went to a Dave show. It was like my 4th. Here's what's really crazy. Corn Capshaw, as you guys know, is his manager. And I just changed management in November of last year. And there's a bidding between 3 companies. One of them was Red Light. I was like, well, shit, like, do I just sign with Red Light because Dave is at Red Light, or like because Corn is at Red Light? And I got a call. They had the best proposal, I'll put it that way. And I got a call from a Virginia number, and I picked it up, and it goes, "Yes, is this Ruston?" And I was like, "Yes, who is this?" And he's like, "This is Corn Capshaw. How are you doing?" And I was like, shit, I'm doing really good. And he was just giving me the spiel about Red Light. And I was like, all right, like, no offense, but like, why are you calling me? And why do you want to sign me to Red Light? And he was just like, I think that what you're doing is really special. I think that we can, do a lot of business together. I think that you're about to move into bigger venues or whatever. And we want to be the conduit for that. We want to help you get to where you want to get and make an impact, and not just with like your career, but like put money into charities and be philanthropic about, the success that you have and the success we have together. I was like, well, I'll leave you with this, Corin. I went to go see Dave. And this was circa 2003. And they opened with Pantala Nagapampa into Rapunzel, which I'm sure you know was rare at the time. And he goes, yes, that was very rare at the time. And I was like, I was staying there. I went there with my brother. He was the one that introduced me to Dave. First record I ever got was Live at Luther College. And my brother and I were like, we fought. We weren't super, super close. So we're really close now. And my brother, he's in the middle of, come and relax now. And my brother turns to me and he goes, you're going to do that someday. And that's all he said. And I was like, isn't that cool, Core? And he goes, wow, that is so special. That is very special, Ruston. And I was like, thanks, dude. Sign me up. Let's go.
Oh man, put that red light tattoo right on my ass. Let's go.
Yeah, put that red light. I'm red light for life. Let's go. If there's a sign for it, I'd do it.
Yeah, exactly. Nolan, awesome. I think that we need to hire him for the podcast. He just did a perfect segue into exactly what we were going to do, which is what everyone probably came here to hear.
Exactly.
The D&D stuff. So
that's why I'm
start. Exactly. You're not here to talk about you. You're here to talk about Dave. We're just nerding out here.
Exactly.
It's time to nerd out.
When did you first hear of D&D? What's your Dave Matthews Band introductory story? How did they hook you in like they've hooked in so many others?
All right. So I was on the beach, right? Just chilling. And I was in 8th grade. And my brother and his friend had like snuck a bottle of vodka into like our family vacation situation. And they're sitting on the beach drinking probably Gatorade and vodka. And there was this strange sound coming from the speakers. I said, what in the hell is that? I was instantly drawn to it. And it was Satellite Live at Luther College. I was like, damn, that's cool. And then he played me Typical Situation from Luther, and then Halloween. And then next thing I know, I'm like, I couldn't get enough of the songs is what it was. And I, for some reason, was like, I don't want to listen to the band. I don't want it to like ruin what I'm experiencing right now. Because I had heard the song I Did It was the first actual sonic exposure to Dave Matthews Band live on SNL. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it at first. I was like, I hate this song. Mm-hmm. And now I actually like that song. But when I heard Luther College, I was like, shit. And then a buddy of mine who was a drummer, who was obsessed with Carter Beauford, was like, let me give you this under the table and drumming instructional DVD and it'll change your mind. I was like, how's an instructional DVD going to change my mind? And it changed my mind immediately. And I went, and I think the first band record I heard was Live at Red Rocks. And I was just like, they opened with Seek Up and Proudest Monkey into Satellite and all the good stuff. And I was like, this is too good. And then I heard Last Stop from Live at United Center in Chicago, and The Maker was on there. And that's a song that I cover now in kind of that vein, a little more sad sounding. But anyways, yeah, I just like, I died when I heard it. Something really, really clicked and I couldn't get enough. I just couldn't get enough. Constant Dave Matthews Band.
Well, Nolan, that'll mark that what he just said about Maker. We'll bring that up later.
Yeah.
Hell
bring
yeah.
it up later. Yeah, absolutely. But no, Luther College was just like a transcendent album for, the two of us for sure. That Say Goodbye, I think, on there is like about as perfect as it gets. And
shit, you're right.
I could listen to that all day.
Yep.
Great Halloween too.
Oh yeah, all of it.
It's a good one.
It's all so good. But so you mentioned your 2003 concert that you went to with the Pantala Rapunzel opener. Was that your first show, or what was your first show, and how many have you been to?
I think I've been to about, because like once I started touring, it's like I don't feel like I've seen a show since. I do go like when my homies are playing, or like if there's someone in the same town that I'm in, but I'm constantly gone. So it was the last time that I saw them was 2009. It was 2009. That was right when the band Elmwood started touring, and it was at Deer Creek in Indianapolis, and Raven was on the set list. And I was like, okay, this is news to me, how good this is live. Yeah, but like my first introduction to it all was the live records. And that really inspired me, because like I feel like I have made some good sonically sounding records, but we're in the middle of mixing Live Selections Volume 1, and I'd like to continue that trend, a la, the way that Dave's done it, where the emphasis is really on, what's the set list from which live tracks, and like, when can I get it?
I noticed that you had posted, I can't remember where, but somewhere, about regretting not getting Dave tickets one time, I think. And I think it was in promotion of your upcoming tour, like, don't regret not getting Ruston tickets for sure. Was that Dave as in DMB, which I would assume that it was? And do you remember what show that was that you regretted not getting tickets for?
Yes, it was 2011 in Nashville, I believe, at Vanderbilt Stadium. And okay. I could have, I think it was like something having to do like the night before I was touring. I can't remember what it was, but I was like, yeah, I'll get him. And then I wasn't able to get it, like, oh, bummer.
That is a bummer. Okay, so you were added as an opener to Gorge Knight 2. I mean, I can guess how it came about, but how did that come about? And I mean, what's the anticipation like for that?
It's nuts. Well, first off, I was like, listen, Corin, if I sign with your company, I'm going to have to open for Dave. And I mean, I was like, kind of kidding. But they were like, that's just going to happen. I was like, good. And yeah, the anticipation is extremely high. I've never met Dave before, so that's going to be pretty crazy. Everyone seems around me as like all my friends, like, the drummer for Dr. Dog that played the drums on Eric Slick played the drums on Shape and Destroy. He's like, oh yeah, no, Dave and I, we kicked it a ton. I was like, cool, okay, I've never fucking met him, my bad. My agent, who's like been on the DMB train with me forever, it's his all-time favorite band. He was like, yeah, man, I met Dave the other day. And I was like, hey, like, literally everyone is meeting Dave. I bet my mom has met Dave. And I just like, I'm very excited. I may be starstruck. I don't get really starstruck. Like, I don't really care most of the time. Like, it's like, whatever. But such an impact. I might be more starstruck meeting Carter. Probably. Yeah. Seeing his drum kit.
The goat. And I hate to break it to you, but I also met Dave a couple weeks ago.
Fucking A, man. What the hell?
And just hiking in the woods. So
stalking in the woods.
Really? You met him hiking in the woods, stalking in the woods?
Yes.
Right before he debuted that Walking Around the Moon song about being in the woods, Nolan. That's kind of weird.
I know. What a coincidence. Yeah.
What really happened in those woods, my man?
It's some magic.
Oh man. Well, that's pretty awesome. Obviously there's no way. I think that you told us before we started this that you're about to kick off rehearsals. So yeah. Going into this, obviously it's going to be your first show. What can we kind of expect, and what can DMB fans expect from you and whatever band is coming with you on stage? What can we expect as far as the musicians that are going to be with you and the music that you're going to be putting out, unless you want to keep it all under wraps, which we completely understand too?
No, man. I mean, I'm happy to get, whoever's listening excited about this. One interesting thing is that my dad used to be in my band for a long time as the pedal steel player, and he played synthesizer. And, we played the Ryman Auditorium was the last show that I ever played. And that was supposed to be his like farewell show. My fans like really love him. It's like a kind of a thing. TK is what we call him. But he's decided he wants to play this show, which is a big treat for everybody. Then Juan Solorzano is, electric guitar, a variety of electric guitars. We have an auxiliary player. It's going to be playing keys, high strung guitar, vocoder, I'm obviously playing guitar and singing. Drummer that I've just recently, like, I hope this turns out, but like I just got a double kick pedal and brought it to him, and I was like, I'm gonna need you to try this in rehearsal. You know what I mean? We're opening for Dave. I'm gonna need you to play the kick twice as much. And yeah, as far as the material goes, like I'm not sure yet, to be honest. Like, we haven't even played Shape and Destroy yet. Like, we're gonna tool around and see whatever's the best fit. My goal for the show is to put on the best show possible, given the timing and like how quick you have a sound check turnaround when you're an opener, and just to like just tear a fucking hole into the Gorge. Like, that's the plan. The plan is just to completely
like
buzz. Yeah, it's about an hour.
Okay,
it's great. I'm down. That's plenty of time.
Oh yeah, man, it's gonna be epic.
Thanks, dudes.
Obviously, we don't talk to a lot of people who open for DMB. What's your schedule like going to a place like the Gorge like that? Are you just in and out for the show, or what goes on with that?
Yeah, so my family obviously knows how like big of a deal it is for me to play a show like this. So my dad is playing with me, my sister's singing backgrounds, and so my mom was like, well, I want to come, and my girlfriend was like, well, I'm coming. And so it's kind of a family affair. And all the people that I play with, like, we're super close. We're like a family already. We've only been working together for a few years. But as far as my plan is to go and work, like to go and do what I need to do to put on the best show possible, which is like you get there and everything's unloaded and we sound check and feel good about everything, test our in-ears, and eat some catering, maybe say hey to Dave, etc. Go and like play as hard as we can, and then I'm gonna watch the show for sure. And then my girlfriend and I are staying for the second night just as fans. So I'm very, it's like that's the dream. It's like, oh, you can go and see 2 Dave shows and also one of them you're gonna open. It's like, okay.
Oh yeah,
sign me up. Yeah.
Good.
Twist my arm.
Okay, excellent. So yeah, no kidding. First show since 2009, and you're playing opening Saturday, and then you're sticking around Sunday, huh?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Good.
Oh man, yeah, that'll be awesome. We'll have to.
You got to get a picture
shouting.
with Dave.
Dude, we'll have to link up. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I'll get management to send my like cell or whatever. You just text me.
Excellent. Yeah, awesome. We can definitely do that. Apparently cell service out there is very good, so we don't have to worry about that being an issue. All right, Nolan. Let's get them into one of our favorite parts, which is the rapid fire. We just ask question after question, and it's just never ending. It never ends. So
I love
let's just go ahead and go through it. First one is going to be favorite DMB song.
Halloween live on MTV 5 spot. It's by far the best version they've ever done.
Oh yeah, the Tabernacle.
At the Tabernacle, great venue, haunted venue. So yeah, perfect. His scream at the end of that is the best. Yeah. Anyways, okay, so rapid fire.
Okay, favorite DMB album.
Before These Crowded Streets.
That is correct.
Yeah, exactly. If someone doesn't say that, they're immediately booted off.
Literally.
So you mentioned a bunch of them, but now you have to choose one. Favorite non-DMB artist.
A favorite non-Dave Matthews Band artist, Jackson Browne.
There you go.
A favorite non-DMB album.
Favorite non-DMB album, Carrie & Lowell by Sufjan Stevens. Yeah.
Favorite, let's see, favorite venue to perform that you've performed at so far?
So far, I'd have to say the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville.
That would be your answer. Yeah, beautiful.
Good answer.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Bucket list venue to perform, not counting the Gorge.
Not counting the Gorge. The Tabernacle. I would say the Tabernacle. would be bucket list. But Red Rocks, let's just be honest here.
Yeah.
I'd like to do my own show at Red Rocks. Yeah.
I love that.
That'd
I love
dope.
that. Tie it all in together from the live at Red Rocks 95. I love that.
That's right.
So since you're such a great songwriter, storyteller, what is your favorite Dave lyric or set of lyrics?
That's a really good one. I mean, Halloween, that's part of the reason why it's my favorite song. I think lyrics to Pig are pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have to say the best of what's around. And I know this is going to sound silly and it's not even a lyric, but I used it as my senior quote in high school, which is at the very end where they're like, oh, on, hey, oh, on, hey. That is one of my favorite utterances that man has ever done. So I'd have to say that, and I know it's not a lyric. I mean, love is hell. Like, are you satisfied with fucking? That's great. Like, I love those lyrics. But best of what's around might take the cake for that. Yeah,
it's a good choice. That's solid. Yeah,
it's a good one. It's a good one.
All right. Favorite song of yours or song you're most proud of?
Oh shit. Okay. I would say from a songwriter's perspective, the song Brave is the one I'm most proud of. That kind of put all the struggle, the hope, the desire to be a better person, that my mom will call me brave at the end of it all is what matters most. I feel like I did a decent job and tying that all together. Yeah.
I've got one quick that's not on the list, and it's not really necessarily rapid fire, but I've thought of it, and it's only going to fit right here. For your upcoming record, your third one, do you already have songs written, or is it going to be all completely new? You're sitting down, boom, ready to go.
Oh no, we got some in the can, baby.
Okay.
It is. There's quite a bit that's already ready to record, and I wait for. I don't like to have an entire record written like before I go on the road touring another record. I know that sounds crazy, but the last track I wrote a lot of Shape and Destroy like in the back of the bus. So I'm looking forward to going on the Shape and Destroy tour and writing some of the third record.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Since this could maybe actually happen, what song would you want to guest on with
Number
DMB?
41?
Boom.
41.
Yeah, second verse. I'll take second verse.
I love that. You could definitely hit the note. We saw it open just a couple of weeks ago for the first show back in Raleigh there. So, yeah,
crazy opener.
We'd be down for that for sure. Nolan, tell him what you said when we first wrote this, and I said to pin this later on. What did you say?
Yeah, we were like, man, he would kill it on the Maker.
Oh, bro. Okay. Either one of those, I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll take it. We'll
so
see.
It'll
maybe Corn, could step in there and pull a move. Who knows? But
Hey, we'll do it. We're gonna clip this out and put it out into the universe, and
that's right.
Yeah.
And tag
get Ruston to guest on the Maker.
We'll tag Corn.
Dude, I would so guest on the Maker. I would sing second verse. That's what I would do. It's my favorite one.
Boom. Well, we'll make it happen. So that we're gonna make it, bring it into the universe and just make it happen. And then Dave will obviously let you guest on I Did It.
Well, naturally, somebody's got to do Boyd's part, you know. It's a little soon, but it's the truth.
Go ahead and rap for us.
Man.
To be honest with you, I would be so let down if he was like, yes, for sure. Like, come up, like, honestly, we're gonna do I Did It, and you should take Boyd's part. I would be a little bit upset. I'd still do it though.
You'd be like, yeah, but I'm staying out for another song, right? Like there's more to this, right?
Yeah. But can we play Halloween later, and I'll do the wailing at the end too?
Oh my God. See, I didn't even say that one because like I've never seen that song live, and I have to see that song live before I die. That would be a great one to do. I can scream. I can get there.
Yeah.
But
Dave, if
we'll
you're listening.
see.
That's why I also said when you said Maker Nolan, I said Watchtower. Marcus Mumford guested on Watchtower one time. And I was like, man, Ruston could do that. That would be something that I could also see absolutely, letting loose on vocally.
Oh, dude, another great suggestion. I'd do all of these. I would do all, even I did it. If Dave is like, hey, do this, I'm like, I don't even care what it is. I'm in. I'm doing it.
I'd be the same way. Whatever you say, man.
What fucking aye, Captain. Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh man. Well, I mean, anything else Dave related that you wanted to get to? Is there something that we didn't ask you before we, plug the tour and, talk a little bit about what's up for the future?
I honestly think you covered all of my Dave needs. I feel like this is the best interview I've ever done. I'm like, I was genuinely very like, I don't mind like doing interviews. Like I'm a Leo, like I will talk about myself, but I was just like very excited to talk about Dave. And yeah, I really wanted at some point to just mention how much I love the MTV 5-spot performance at the Tabernacle of Halloween, but we've covered that. So I feel great.
No,
we do too.
Cut that. Also cut that out that he's this is the best interview ever. We have to put that out there.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
it.
Absolutely.
Oh man. Well, I mean, obviously appreciate the compliment, but we more so appreciate you taking the time and all of that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
really
we cannot wait to see you guys next week. Obviously
Thank you.
We can't wait to see Dave, but now we have another reason to get into the venue earlier, get onto that lawn, plop our butts down on the grass, even before Robert Randolph gets out there. And I mean, even better. So what time do you know the exact time for your set? What's the set time yet?
I'm not sure. Last time I checked, 4:30 were doors, and we start at 6, I think.
Okay.
Or 4 were doors. I'm the worst person with that. Like I wake up and I see the schedule on the bus wall, and I just go.
There you go. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Get into the Gorge early. You will see wall-to-wall great music, starting with Ruston, then Robert Randolph, and then Dave and Ruston will join on stage, obviously, too.
Obviously.
Yeah. And look for that sign out in the lawn. It says poison.
I'm down.
Yes.
Oh yes. Yeah, no, well, the sentiment is mutual. I really appreciate you guys taking the time and riffing with me.
Oh, absolutely, man. Nerding on Dave is what we do, and we loved it. And we got to plug your fall tour here too. You're starting with the Gorge, your first show, but then Shape and Destroy North American tour, 29 cities, starting in San Diego at the Music Box on October 7th, and 2 sold out shows in your hometown at the Ryman. So that was big time.
Yeah, thanks, dude. We're hustling out there. That's feeling good, and I'm excited to get back out on the road. So.
Oh yeah, we're upset that you aren't coming anywhere near us though. Nolan's North
Carolina.
Carolina. I'm Florida, and so yeah, I think was the closest Nashville, Nolan.
You might have been
for you. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we looked at it and we were like, "Come on, man! I mean, seriously, just gonna jip our 2 states like that? What the hell?"
There will be more shows. Let's just put it that way.
Excellent.
Yeah, there will be more.
All right, perfect. And obviously you're writing new music. You told us 3rd album's coming. You're going to get back in the studio this winter, I guess, right?
Yep.
Perfect. So in that case,
be on the lookout.
Where can people, be on the lookout, everybody. And where can they find that when it comes? Where can they find your music now? Where can they buy tickets, merchandise, obviously big t-shirts with your face blown up on it, all the good stuff? Where can they find everything Ruston Kelly?
RustonKelly.com is your one-stop shop for all needs Ruston. So yeah, and obviously like Apple and Spotify and whatever they call it now. What's it called? Sphincter or Tyndall or some title. That's what it's. Sphincter is a part of your body. Whatever these kids are listening to, it's all on everything. So tickets and all that is on rustonkelly.com. Yeah, that's it. That's what I got.
Sweet. Easy enough.
Excellent. And then follow him on the socials as well. I mean, you
Yes.
kids, y'all know how to find all of that good stuff. So rustonkelly.com, everybody.
That's right.
And if you're at the
Nolan,
Gorge, we better see you at Ruston's opening set. We're gonna rustle
get
up
your
a bunch
butts
of people. We'll be there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get your
you
butts in
better.
your seats or on the lawn. We'll be telling people Friday and Saturday before the shows when we see them out in the lots. We'll be plugging.
You gotta see this dude.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and it's his first show back after the pandemic. Like, it's got to be loud. The MD fans have to come loud and proud. And if not, well, we will chastise you on the podcast until the end of time, which I know that they will all cry about. So, Nolan, we've plugged him. Why don't you plug our socials really quickly? We'll get Ruston out of here. Let him get some rest. They are about to start rehearsals. And he needs to rest up and get packing for next week if he's going to the Gorge.
Yeah, well, if you're listening to this,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. If you're listening to this, you can watch the interview on our YouTube channel, the Corner of Gray Street Podcast. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Gray Street Pod. And if you have any comments, suggestions, ideas, like the fine gentleman that suggested we do this interview, DM us, email us, graystreetpod@gmail.com. And appreciate everyone listening.
Absolutely. Right. And not only will we see you guys in Ruston next week at the Gorge, but we will see you next time on the corner of Main Street. No, Dave, it's not the corner of Main Street. Stop saying that. You said it the last 2 times you played it. We'll see you next time on the corner of Gray Street.